Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you're having a great start to the week. Thanks for jumping in and saying hello, whether you're watching live right now with me while I ship, or whether you're joining me later on the replay. Thanks so much. I hope you had a great weekend. If you saw the title, I had the biggest weekend I've had in a long time. I didn't go back and look and see how long it's been, but 36 orders out the door. I should have had one more, but I had to cancel it because I was out of stock. I don't know how that happened. It was a hat sale. It was only $5, so I didn't lose out a lot, but I had one hat sale that had to cancel due to not having the hat. So, yeah, so not a huge bummer, but 36 orders plus 2 spreadsheets, that'd be 38, but I don't really count the spreadsheets in there. If you're, hope you're having a great start to the week, by the way. Got a lot to ship out this morning, and I'm going to try and cram it all in an hour if I can. It's gonna require me to move fast, but just want to say thanks for jumping in. If you're new to me, I'm Jason. I'm a full-time reseller. I create videos like this, and I have a reseller spreadsheet. So that's kind of all my business in one. Reselling, content, spreadsheet. Those are the 3 things that I do on a regular basis. That's where all my time gets spent. So let me know where you're watching from, whether you're what part of the country you're watching from. Let me know a good sale that you've had. Maybe you had a big sale or a big find this weekend you want to share with all of us. Put it in the chat and let us know. Let us know what you're finding, what you're selling, all of it. It's all good stuff, and it helps keep the conversation moving forward, which is what we want today. Okay, so typically on the weekends, I have a lot of eBay and Poshmark, and then I have a few Depop or Mercari sales. I had no Mercari or Depop sales. I'm close to Depop on one. I'm waiting on a buyer to make an offer that they were having some issues with. So, but all of my orders are either eBay or Poshmark. So pretty simple stuff. This morning as I ship 2 platforms, that's it. Also, if you can't see me or hear me, let me know. I'm assuming that everything's running correctly and it looks and sounds great. So 28 orders on eBay that I'm going to be shipping out, and 8 total units on Poshmark. There were a couple of 2 or 3 buyers had bundles where they bundled 2 items on the weekend. So it was a really good weekend. I did 20 sales on Saturday, and I haven't hit 20 in a long time. So it just felt like every 30 minutes or so, even less, I was just getting offers, orders. It felt like nothing could go wrong. So it was a good feeling. I feel like we've turned the corner. September 6th. We're officially into fall now, or at least maybe not officially, but it feels like we're into fall now. So let me go ahead and get these set up. I've got a bunch of clothing sales. I'm primarily a clothing seller, but I did have some other items sell, like this mug. I've got a blanket back here. I've got 3 pairs of shoes. I feel like there was something else, but maybe I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's buried in the pile. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because, like I said, I want to go ahead and ship out, see if I can finish this in an hour just to keep it concise. But yeah, thanks for following along with me. So we're going to kick it off with Poshmark. We're going to go ahead and get all of those items out just because they're pretty simple to ship out. Let's get all my bags over here stationed, ready to go. Man, it was a good weekend. It was much needed. It reminded me of the good old days. I mean, I can remember way back years ago when I was not doing a lot of content. I didn't have a spreadsheet. I was just listing and shipping. I can remember weekends where it'd be 40 to 60 units on a weekend. So we got close to like the good old days. Okay, so actually we're going to do it this way. I'm just going to start with what I see because I didn't order it here on my desk in order. So rather than digging around and spending a lot of time that way, we're going to go with what I see. What was the... Doesn't matter. Had some fast flips in here. Surprisingly, I usually have like close to $100 flip on the weekend. My biggest sale was $69.97. I'll show that in just a second. My lowest sale was $17.99. Fastest flip was a couple of days. I had 3 or 4 flips in there that went within three days of listing it. My slowest flip was 800 and I believe 14 days. Took 814 days, and I'll share that with you. It was actually pretty surprising that it took this long and didn't sell faster and for more money. But that's how it goes sometimes. If you've been selling for any amount of time, you kind of know that there are going to be some sales that you don't get or that you get later on that are surprising, and there are going to be some items that go faster and you didn't expect that. We'll start off with this first one. This Billy Reed, really heavy, beautiful geometric merino wool pattern sweater. I sold this on Poshmark actually pretty quick for 55 bucks. I picked this up at a yard sale maybe 6 weeks ago for $3. So Billy Reed is a great brand, especially if you get some of their shirts are decent, but if you can find their sweaters, cardigans, their heavy like fall winter stuff. Obviously $55 on this sweater, this wool cardigan. They do really well. I don't see Billy Reed that much. Let's go into Salem, Oregon. We're actually going to be up in Oregon here in about a month. We're going to be up really close to there. We're going to be in Bend, Oregon. So first order out is tracking with us. All right, I sold a bundle of 2. I alluded to several bundles that I had on Poshmark this weekend. I had 2 shirts. They're both untuckets. They're both the same size and style, just different colors. So I sold these for $45 total. If you've joined me at all in any of my recent live shipping, you've seen that I have get a different bag. You've probably seen that I've been selling these untuckets. I've got several in here that I sold out this weekend. Every week I'm selling out. I'm selling several units of these untucket shirts. This was a big haul that I got. A bulk buy where I dropped some money, got a pallet of these shirts, and now it's just a matter of selling off to recoup my money. I don't make a lot of margin on those, but that's okay for a bulk buy. It was 600 units. So my goal is $10 to $15 a piece on each of these to hopefully double or triple my money for my investment. Nick Smith in the live. What's going on, buddy? Hope you're having a great day. I was thinking about you yesterday because I was thinking you mentioned last week or a previous week that you've just had a lot of Depop sales. And I was like, I wonder what Nick's doing to get those sales, because I didn't have any Depop this weekend. I didn't have any Mercari. And I know a lot of it is what you're finding. You're getting Western shirts or Carhartts or things like that that do well on Depop. But I was curious, Nick, if you had any extra things that you're doing to sell on Depop. And I hope you had a great weekend, by the way. Hope you had a great weekend. It was a big one for me, as you may have seen from the title. 36 orders, 36 units going out the door this morning. And again, I didn't look at it. I didn't go back and track like how long has it been since I've sold that many units in a weekend. But I'm thinking just off the top of my head, it's got to be over a year since I've sold 36 units in a weekend. All right, let's move on. Let's see here. I hope you all experienced a bump in sales too. Move these over here. All right, we're shipping out Poshmark this morning. I had this Gap hoodie. I almost was like, why did I pick this up? It's just a Gap hoodie. It's like, it looks denim-y, very heavy blue. Looks like a denim style. Took a best offer on this for 18 bucks on Poshmark. Sold within about 4 weeks. It's not something I typically am looking for. And I don't remember how much I paid, but for something like that, I'm guessing I would have got it half price, maybe $2-3 bucks. I typically am not looking for Gap items. I don't know about you all. Do you all pick up Gap at all? Don't get me wrong, if it's new with tags, I'll consider a lot of brands, even some really bad reselling brands, new with tags. And if it's I guess I shouldn't say really bad reselling brands, but lower than average. All right. Going to Cranston, Rhode Island. Yeah, Nick, I was thinking about that. I appreciate you sharing. I was thinking, when you make sales on Depop, I'm sure that helps because then Depop sees your store as doing well and they maybe promote it a lot better in search results. That's just my guess. But yeah, you've always done well there. So I was curious. You'll see a mix of new and used items. I'm going to thrift stores. I'm going to places like Marshalls and TJ Maxx, Ross, those types of places, and picking up new items on clearance. This was a retail arbitrage, Vineyard Vines, pair of like performance pants and kind of an interesting blue color. I don't know if that's showing up for you all as well. Sold for $49 on Poshmark. Nick mentioned Nifty in the live in his chat. I had this at 55. The buyer went and liked this item and Nifty sent out a 10% offer and the buyer purchased it right away. So that was a Nifty sale for me. And I paid 22 for these. So my margin isn't the greatest. 22 is a little high to pay for that pair of pants, knowing I would have gotten about 50 for it, but I definitely would not have picked it up had it been higher than that. Going to Little River, South Carolina. Those that are coming in, say, let me know where you're watching from. What part of the country are you watching? Say hello if you're able to say hello. Let me know what are some good sales you had this weekend. Maybe you found something. Maybe you went out and thrifted and found something amazing you want to share. Let us all know. Let's keep the conversation moving forward. All right, let's see. Sharing one another's flips. Why is it so hard to find these pants? I sold a couple of pairs of cool pants. And now I've got one, but I don't know where the other one is. Ah, here they are. Make sure I don't get these mixed up. All right, this was my first Poshmark sale of the day. I alluded to a couple of cool pants going out. There's the logo right here. Typically, this is like a grayish logo. It's harder to see. Usually with Cool, this is like a blue logo right on the back of the waist, right in the middle. This is one of my favorite brands to find. I always pick up Cool. I have even picked up flawed Cool, and they still sell. I have a hard time keeping this in my store. As far as the pants go, the shirts sit a little longer unless you price them right. This and this other pair that I was alluding to, I listed recently, and they both sold for full price, I'd say within a month. So Cool is a great brand. And if you consider, a lot of times with reselling, this is true for a lot of brands, not just Cool, but especially these outdoor brands, which I try and specialize in. If I were to go and buy these pants brand new on Cool's site, it would be $100. So someone's getting these for 40 on Poshmark. These are excellent condition, almost like new. They're getting them for 60% off with just a slight amount of wear. And the reason why the resale game is strong. Going to Brooklyn, New York. My wife and I were talking about Brooklyn this weekend, about what it would be like to live there. So I paid $6.99 for those Cool pants. They sold for 40 and $8 fees on Poshmark. Pretty simple to understand, 20% fees. So I ended up making 26 bucks profit just on that pair of cool pants. So if you're looking for cool, you can do really well, especially if you get their like heavier fabric. Those can sell closer to that $50 range. Your daughter lives in Brooklyn. Cool. Do you get to go visit her very often? We used to have a friend in Brooklyn, but she has since moved. All right. My last Poshmark order was a bundle, 2 shirts. Another favorite brand of mine. All right, we've got a brand new Untuck It shirt going out. This was, I do 12% off bundles. So if a buyer likes an item on Poshmark, they get a 10% offer. If they bundle items, then I do a 12% offer. I will come down a little more, but it auto sends a 12% offer. So this was one of those times when a buyer came in, put both of these in their bundle, and Nifty sent out a 12% off offer, and they accepted right away. Visited this year, this time last year. Nice. I bet this is always a great time. This weekend, man, it's just when the weather starts to change usually, and I just start to get excited for fall. We still have some hot days coming, but we've got this Patagonia flannel, which went for 12% off of 35. It's not showing me on Poshmark. And then this Untuck It shirt went in the mid-20s. Yeah, it was really interesting this weekend because I alluded to, I shared 36 orders that came in. 20 of those were on Saturday. So I had about 7 to 8 on Friday, 7 to 8 on Sunday, but the bulk of them were on Saturday. It just felt like my phone was just blowing up all day. And it definitely hasn't been like that this summer and for a lot of the year. So it's just refreshing to have a weekend like that. I'd say probably 2 weeks ago, I went through my store and started dropping all my prices. I've shifted some strategies, just doing things, just trying to get some traction going. And finally, I'm hoping this sticks around. I'm hoping this wasn't a fluke where it's one of those weekends where the next weekend goes back. Beautiful weather everywhere. Yeah. What's it like in sunny Arizona down there? All right. I believe that's all of my Poshmark. Yeah, that's it. So let's close that one out. I even tried, I mentioned trying some new things with my store. I even tried promoting offsite for 4 or 5 days just to see if that would generate anything. All I did was pay for fees, pay for promoting, and it didn't make one sale. So I was like, you know what? I've already spent $20 on promoted offsite fees. I'm just going to cancel this campaign. So no longer doing that. And especially since I do promote my items in my store. So I just thought I would add another layer in there. All right, this is a brand, found 4 of these on one thrift run here in Arkansas a week or 2 ago. I was actually surprised because I never see this brand here, but it's Marine Layer. See if you can see it right there, Marine Layer, one buyer. I mean, they were all the same size. So I know that this person probably just donated his whole wardrobe from, maybe he changed styles or something, but this was like a French terry. You can't really see it, but it's like a really soft French terry shirt. Had a cool little graphic, like stripes on the not the collar, on the sleeves. And this sold full price, which was kind of confusing because I sent an offer, $39.99 is what it went for. I sent an offer for $34, and then to this same buyer, and they just bought it full price at $39. So I'm like, okay. I don't know if maybe they had already purchased it or something when the offer went through, but I love it when that happens. Save me $5, $6. I was actually surprised when I look up comps that Marine Layer doesn't do better than it does. And I'm actually lucky that the shirt that I have is more of a French terry because it's different than your typical polo or button up. And they didn't have those priced up at the Goodwill, which is something they've been doing. Shirts used to be, maybe a few months ago, they used to be $4.99 at my thrift store. Now they're, I think the lowest price is $5.99, maybe even a $5.50 in there, but most of them $5.99, $6.99, $7.99. And if you get like a Polo Ralph Lauren, they're pricing those at $8.99, $10. I mean, it's just nuts. Sometimes even $12. Okay, let's keep moving forward. Profit on that would have been about $27 and change. Comfortable mid to upper 90s, Nick says, down in Arizona. Flagstaff, right? With lows in the 70s. Perfect for being outside. Enjoyed the pool and watching football from outside all weekend. Nick, who are you watching? College, NFL? What team are you following? It's not Washington, is it? Is it Georgia? Washington or Georgia? Those are my guesses based on your handle and where you used to live. Of course, I'm assuming college over pro. This was my fastest flip this weekend. You may have seen a recent video where I showed picking up like 6 of these Life is Good shirts, all the same size, all the same style, just different graphics. This one went in 2 days, $15.30, and just has the kind of generic Life is Good, like dog in the hammock, camping, I like it here style. So they actually had these shirts priced at like, I think $5.50 a piece. Maybe even less than that. It may have been $4.50. So I just picked them all up. Huskies and the Seahawks. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. We've got some friends who live in Denver. They're considering a move up to your old stomping grounds. Actually, I don't remember where you were in Washington, but they're considering moving to Olympia. We were just connecting with recently. Not a lot of profit on this Life is Good shirt. But that's okay, because when I listed 6 or 7 of these, the template pretty much stayed the same. It was the same size. It was the Crusher tee. All I had to do was upload different pics and just redo the measurements, and that was it. So listing really didn't take that long. Next up, got this brand new Nike New With Tag. Really cool graphic, kind of like a striped with a, I honestly don't know what the N7 is. I just put in the title, Nike Men's N7 Graphic T-shirt, sold for $24.99. Again, another item. Nifty sent a 10% offer, and the buyer accepted it. This was one of those items where I tried searching like Nike N7 to find out what is N7, and I never found it. So I just put it in the title and moved on. Excuse me. All right, another fast flip. 3 days, listed this Ralph Lauren. Excuse me, I'm really particular with Ralph Lauren's. If you know me, this nice, beautifully blue striped shirt. It was an XL, and it's the Blake. And usually you'll see the name right there under the label, and it's 100% linen. It's hard to see through this plastic, but 100% linen, large size, great stripes. Just a lot going on for this shirt. I priced it up in the upper 20s. Buyer made an offer for $25, and I accepted. And this took 3 days to sell. And a lot of times with my, sometimes when I say it took 3 days, which I mean, that's great. That's a fast flip. But a lot of times I draft items. So I'll create the listing. I'll put in the day that I actually created the listing, but then it will sit in drafts for a day or two. So this could have sold in a day or two and actually not 3 days. And that's the case with a lot of these items. But since I'm really just going off of when I listed it rather than when I pushed it through, there's a little bit of a discrepancy there. Yeah, so I hardly pick up Ralph Lauren's anymore. I used to do it all the time. Going to Vancouver, Washington. This used to be a staple of mine, and I know other people like Brad and Surfs Up, Chris at Peak, Wayne, they regularly sell these things, but I just don't find them cheap enough and good enough for me. Excuse me. Hopefully that's not loud on the mic. All right. Another retail arbitrage grab. I picked up 2 of these. This was the last one to sell. These Carhartt double knee original front, original fit jeans. I mean, these are heavy jeans. You don't find jeans often that weigh over 3 pounds or over 2 pounds. I'm going to go up a size in the bag. If you're looking for any of the supplies I have, I've got them linked. Got them in the description of this video. I believe I have them in the comments as well. It's all the supplies I use, from poly mailers, tape, boxes. Anything you see, you'll likely find it there. All right, this was an international order going to, it's hard to say. Pull it up. I don't even know from the eBay order. All right, let's go into Pirate Ship and let's pull this up there. The Carhartt jeans, double front jean, very heavy, very durable, thick. Sold for best offer of $40 plus shipping. Going to Malaysia. Okay, it wasn't showing up on the order. It wasn't saying Malaysia. It was saying something else. I always round up my the contents of my package. So it was like 2 pounds and change. I just rounded up to 3 because the post office is going to round it up anyways. And then I just have to come in with international orders, come in, fill in a little bit of information. What is it? How much is the value, weight, and things like that. And then that's pretty much it. So there's a little more to do on international orders, but I think you'd be surprised if you're not shipping internationally. It's really not that hard, and it doesn't take a long time either. So I've got a tax code here that's a little different than normal. So I'll have to figure out I've got to play with this for a little bit to get it under 20 characters, and it's like 40 right now. So bear with me 1 second. It doesn't like anything but numbers here. Okay, well, we're gonna have to do that. See if there's a place where I can put a message. Okay. All right, almost done here. Oh, I just saw your comment. Nick grew up in Vancouver. Did Washington win this weekend or Seattle? I don't really follow the NFL, but I follow stats more than like games. Try and follow like former Razorbacks or like certain players. Interesting. Okay, we're rolling. Printing out label now. Had a couple of international orders going out this week, and I always have like one or two going out over a weekend. I want to make sure I do it all right because of the transit time. I mean, it takes like a couple of weeks to ship, to deliver. Make sure that I get everything correct. Okay. Another Untuck It going out for $29.97. Oh, Huskies won 70-10. That's incredible. You know, after Kalen DeBoer left for Alabama, I wondered how Washington would do. I know they've already had a season under their belt, but it sounds like they're not doing too shabby, not doing too bad. All right, this was one of the most surprising flips for me this weekend. You know, you have it sometimes an item sells and it's kind of like a head scratcher, like why didn't this sell faster for more money? If I can find it. Here it is. You can't really see, but these are new with tags, Ralph Lauren. Kind of see the Ralph Lauren tag in there. These took over 2 years and like 3 months to sell for $24. Brand new dress pants, wool, good size, 38 by 30. They were modern fit, pleated. I don't know, maybe the pleated, but sometimes, you know, you have an item, and I used to put these at 39, 49 bucks, and they would just sell. These just sat, and so I just continued to lower the price, and they sold on a nifty 10% offer. Oh, not nifty. They made an offer for 24, and I accepted. It's always confusing, but I was more excited that they're gone and they're not sitting in my store anymore to get $24 and recoup my money and move on. Going to Papillion, Nebraska. Close neighbor. All right. I don't pick up a lot of women's. This next item was a woman's item. My cousin actually was like, hey, I'm about to donate a bunch of stuff. Some of it's new with tags. Do you want to look through it? And I was like, sure. And this was like a couple of years ago. This was one of those items. It's like more boutique brands. Like I don't really know this brand, Waif. But I grabbed some stuff from her. Honestly, if I were at the thrift store and I was paying for this stuff, I would not have picked it up. It's probably a good indicator that I shouldn't have picked it up in the first place, even though she was giving it to me for free. And this has even got a Nordstrom rack tag on it. And it still took 2 years to sell. August of 2023 is when I listed it. It went for $22.19. Again, no cost, no risk on this, but I've still got quite a few items from her. I mean, it was nice of her to donate to me for sure, but I probably should have just said, I probably should just not have taken some of these items. I just assumed I would get, new with tags, that I would get, that I'd be able to sell it faster than that. This was like a pleated shirt and pants set that sold for $22, brand new. So I mean, it profited me $17.10 because I have no cost in on this. But taking 2 years to sell, that's not what I'm wanting to do. I'm not wanting to hold items that long. All right. Next up, a pair of Peter Millar, like khaki chino pants, jeans. I don't know what you'd call these when they have that look like jeans, but they're, I guess you'd just say jeans. But Peter Millar Crown Comfort 5-pocket jeans sold for $30 in the best offer. I had these at $39. Typically would like that mid 30 range, but I didn't even encounter. I just accepted it. It was just, I think I was in that mood of, man, sales are going out the door. Let's just keep it going. And to be honest, I'm not sad at all about a $30 flip. Not sad one bit. Definitely not countering as much as I used to. I'm just decent offers get accepted. Decent offers going out the door. Something like this, jeans would have been priced at $6.99 at my thrift. That would have given me close to a $20 profit, like 19 and change. And those took 50 days to sell. So that's actually a pretty good flip for clothing, which some items can sit for a while. All right, my last untuck it of the live here going out, brand new with tags for $31.48. Most of these that I got were larger sizes, so they were XLs, 2XLs, and 3XLs. And I've got probably 30 different styles. And so they're just slowly just dropping out the door, which is great. Slowly acquiring that money back. I'm selling these new shirts at the price that I used to sell used Untuckits for. Let's see. So I bought 600 of those in May. And I've sold 57. So I'm almost at 10%. I knew it was going to be a long haul, and I'm not worried about that. I obviously would like to sell them faster if possible, but when you have that many units, it's a matter of finding people that are looking for those styles. And some of those styles haven't even sold yet. I'm selling a lot of the same styles, but almost at 10%. And I've probably recouped close to 20% of my investment back. So we're making good progress there. All right. Got another international order here. Got these women's kids, like girls' Keen shoes that I picked up for a couple of bucks. Good condition on them. They're going to Israel, and the buyer said it's really important that her phone number get into the order. So let's just make sure. Okay, it looks like it's in there. I want to make sure. I don't want this coming back. I actually had an international order come back. Just got it back last week. It's sitting right over here from Israel. Came back and it just said unclaimed. So I don't know what's in this. I can feel a tag, so I know that this is a new item, new with tags. I'm hoping it's not super expensive, but when something like that happens, it's frustrating. I'm not sure why it wasn't claimed. Maybe the person just forgot about it and it sat. But with something like that, it's not claimed, so I'm obviously not going to refund their shipping back. I'll reach out to the buyer and just say, hey, got this item back. It looks like it was unclaimed. Do you still want it? And if they do, they'll have to go and purchase it again because I'm not going to ship it out on my dime. Had it happen more with domestic packages, it's more frustrating when it happens with an international order because shipping would have been 20 bucks on that. Worst case, I refund his money, I relist it and sell it another time. I'm not going to be out money on it, that's for sure. Okay. Going to Israel. Again, these international orders just take a little extra time. It's not as simple as just putting in dimensions and going. All right. Okay. These two orders are a little more complicated than they typically are. Usually don't take this long. Okay, I think we've got everything. All right, we're printing out $17.99 shipping on an international order going to Israel. How are we doing here? We started at about 9:45, so we're gonna have to pick it up. My goal was to be done in an hour, but I don't know if that's possible. There's a lot to ship out today. Okay, let's hope that one doesn't come back. The buyer specifically said, make sure my phone number is on the label, and I can see her phone number. I'm hoping that when it gets to the rerouting center, they're able to print off maybe they'll see the note as well. Okay. My biggest flip of the weekend, which is surprising. Typically this $69.97 on these Polo Ralph Lauren Varick jeans, slim and straight, new with tags. I'll take it. I mean, that's a great sale. Picked up several of these, and I've got one pair left. I actually had sold the other pair, and then a buyer immediately sent me a message and said, I can't afford these. My son was buying them for me or something, and they requested to cancel. So I almost had them sold. That's all right. Going to Bronx, New York. I know, Nick, right? That is a lot for an hour. Especially when last week I did like 22 orders in an hour and a half. But I told myself I was going to pick it up this week. I was going to pick it up and get through it a little faster. Talk faster, say less. Next up on eBay, these Dockers workday khakis. Interesting, I sold these, and then the sale right after it, within like 5 minutes, was another pair of Dockers, and I thought it had to be the same buyer, right? And it wasn't. Two different buyers on two different pairs of Dockers within 5 minutes of one another. These sold for $35.99, and people will see Dockers in the store and think, man, I'm not picking those up, not a great brand. Two reasons why I picked these up. One, because I can get $28 to $36 on these, especially if they're larger sizes. And two, I sell on Amazon, and I'm currently gated in Dockers, but I'm hoping that as I continue to sell items that eventually I'll get ungated. And then once that happens, I can now go through all of my inventory and list those Dockers new with tags on Amazon. So it doesn't happen, but that's the goal. Because I can find them here, you know, priced for $5.99, $6.99, brand new with tags. Pick them up and sell them for $28 to $35. And what's important with Dockers, and with a lot of items, to be honest, especially if it's new with tags, it's important. I used to just list men's Dockers, straight fit pants, and the size. Now you really need to get the model in. So these were the workday khakis. So my title is New Dockers, Slim Fit Workday Khaki Pants, then the men's size and the material and things like that. So I think it's more important now than ever to get the model actually in the title if you know what it is. So, I mean, we're talking on those Dockers pants. It took, actually, how much did I pay? $6.29 shipping. They took 11 days to sell. That's surprising. They usually don't go that fast. And I ended up making about $23 profit. All right. And I mentioned that I had another pair of Dockers going out. These took a little longer and for less money. They went for $29.70. Took 60 days to sell. These Dockers. Let's see, what's the model on these? Just straight fit comfort knit trouser pants. So $29.70, still a good price. And 60 days to sell, 50, 60, what did I say? I have a ton of these in my store. Dockers, Hagar, those are brands that people see and they're like department store brands. I'm not picking those up, but I actually don't do that bad with them. Going to New Hampshire. So 2 months to sell 2 pairs. Hagar, I am ungated on Amazon, so I will list my Hagar pants on Amazon, and then if they sell, I'll just take them down from wherever they didn't sell from. All right, got this, you know, football season is among us. Got this, even men's small, new with tag, Nike, Jordan, Oklahoma, football jersey with the number 1 printed on the front. I had 2 of these, and they both sold this weekend. So I'm guessing when that first one sold, people got a notification. There's one left. They're about to run out. my store's about to run out, and then someone went in and snatched the other. This one's actually staying close, a couple hours away, but we are really close to Oklahoma too. So that makes sense. All right, speaking of items that I have multiples of, I had 2 of these. So I've got one more left, this brand new Travis Matthew. Like, this one's actually open, so I'll show you. But it's like a Hawaiian polo shirt, men's medium, which isn't a great size, but it's got this colorful like Hawaiian floral design pattern on it. And I actually accepted a lower offer for a new with tag shirt. I think it was 29 bucks. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, summer's closing. Let's just get this sold. I still have one more to go. The sizing isn't great. I paid $15 for 3 of these last year at this time. So I don't want to be sitting on these when it's the middle of winter. One to go. One Travis Matthew to go. That brand has slowed down for me. I don't know about you all, but it's not moving like it used to, especially for a new item. You would think 40 to 50 bucks on that shirt. Nope, 29. Okay. Pair of women's, like, I don't know what you call these, flats, loafers. Brand is Vionic. Pretty good condition. Vionic. I will pick up certain looks from Vionic. I have sold a few pairs of their shoes. I feel like they have slowed down quite a bit for me. It used to be Vionic I would list and they would sell pretty quickly, which is the case with a lot of things because you've got a lot more sellers out there. Supplies are high. People are jumping into reselling, and obviously more supply means demand takes a hit. Throw another one around these. But I still got a decent money for these. $30.60. Again, 10% offer sent out. And I don't have the exact cost. Hopefully that's not loud. Is that loud when I pull that tape off? Because it's right by my mic. And I just now thought of that. Is that really loud? Try and do that somewhere else. So for these Vionic shoes, I mean, I'm not paying more than $6 to $8 for them. Definitely I'm not paying up for this pair of shoes. So margin is still there, close to $20 profit on these. Sometimes they can sit, and these listed on November of 2024. Almost a year. That's a lot of time to take up space. If you're just jumping in and joining me, let me know. What was a good flip you had this weekend? Or if you want to talk about what else you did, maybe you did something fun. You don't have to talk about reselling. This one's going to Nyack, New York. Nyack, New York. Never heard of that place. No idea where that is in New York. Must be out more on the countryside because shipping is a little more expensive for a pair of shoes at 2 pounds. More expensive than if it were going to, say, New York, where it's going right to the city. All right. We're making good progress. Johnny O, new with tags. There's the tag. Someone got a steal of a deal on this shirt. Retails for $168. Bought it for $47 in the best offer. I had it for $59. They got a 10% off offer. It could have taken, I could have countered in the mid 50s, but again, it was just let's move it. $47. I believe I paid $15 to $20 for this not too long ago, August 4th of 2025. And when sales are rolling in, I get happy. It's like, let's just keep it going. Just keep the sales going. It's a good feeling. Last weekend was horrible, so it was good for a change. Spreading it out all over the country today, going to Indiana. Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. I don't think I didn't get my shipping charge in there. All right, do flawed items sell? Yes, they do. Now, lucky for me, the flaw was more inside the pocket, on these Kavu pants, which is kind of an older school brand. Have you guys heard of Kavu pants? The pockets on the inside, like that liner pocket, was ripped. So it was basically a hole. So if the person put their hands in their pockets, it would be a hole, which it's hard to show a picture of that, but I did describe that in the description, and I did have something in the title telling them to read the description. But still got $22 on these pants. And had it not had those, I would have gotten closer to 30, because those are like an older vintagey style pants from Kavu. And this was another international order going to Canada. So let's go back into Pirate Ship. Going to British Columbia. These sold for $22.97. And that's the great thing about international orders is if the buyer has to pay shipping to get it back, then it's going to be very hefty. So I don't ever get, knock on wood, but I don't ever get returns on international orders. It's pretty much, once I sell it, it's gone, unless I get a not claimed from customs. Got someone coming in here. Layla's trying to say hi, but I don't like her in here because she just gets on my clothes and then scratches. Sometimes does some thread pool stuff. So that's our little shout out from Layla. She's going out. I've also got a Patagonia puffer jacket in here, and I'm about to list this, and I definitely don't want that to be clawed. Layla's our only pet that we've had for almost a year now. She's just a little kitty. Okay. All right, we're good to go on the international order. It's asking for a harmonization number, and I don't know why. It's usually only if it's going to Europe. It's asking for it like on every order. I'm wondering if that's something that's changed. All right, we're good to go. So that's 3 international orders already this weekend. I don't know if I had any more. I think that may be it. John just coming through with the spreadsheet order. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. If you're in here and you don't know, I have a reselling spreadsheet that I sell. Got 3 different versions, but basically it's a way to track your finances. It's a way to not just inventory, sales, and profit, even though we all know those are important things to track, but it tracks depending on which version you get. There is a basic that's pretty much a few metrics, a basic version that's on the cheaper end. But if you're wanting to track like business expenses, your platform trends, your stores, your categories, your mileage, profit and loss, all of that, then you'll want to look at either the second or third, the premium or the creator version. But a lot of people out there using the spreadsheet and finding it very helpful. I get a lot of positive reviews back from people saying they really enjoy it and they continue to come back and pick it up every year. Okay. So if you would like that, it's in the description of this video. I've also got it linked on all my channels as well. So you can take a look at that and you'll find videos and just different pictures and things to help you decide which version is for you. Next up are these brand new pair, and you may be surprised by this, but Fila. These were brand new with the tags, Fila shoes. They sold for $49.99. I'm actually shocked. I think these were 15 bucks at the store. No, it couldn't have been that much. I don't know if that I would have paid 15, but still, I was shocked to see that comps on these, just a pair of Fila tennis shoes, we're going to go for 50 bucks. And they did. They sold full price to Evansville, Indiana. And they didn't take that long, maybe a couple of months. 50 days, so just shy of 2 months. Now I'm curious how much I paid on those, which I don't keep track of my individual costs anymore. So it's going to be hard to figure that out, but almost impossible. $49.99. Taking 50 days to sell. And if you know how if you've seen me do it before, you know this already, but the bulk of my shoes go, that's a lot of tape for a piece of wrap. The bulk of my shoes go into bubble wrap and then into a poly mailer. I haven't had one person complain about shoes packaged like this. Those aren't going to fit there. Not one person has said that this was an issue. And it saves me from having to store boxes, and obviously boxes are a lot more expensive than bubble wrap and poly mailers. And most of the shoes that I'm purchasing are going to go for that 2-pound range, which is a pretty affordable way to ship shoes. I charge $9.95 for 10 pounds. $9.95 for 2 pounds. And because these are going to Indiana, which is really close to me, it only cost me $6.29 shipping. So getting a little bit of margin back on that one can pay for some of the supplies I'm using. Let me know in the comments, how many of you are using like a flat rate shipping charge where it doesn't matter where the buyer lives, you're going to charge a set amount, just like I do. I charged $9.95 on the shoes. And how many of you are doing calculated? I've never done calculated. I've always done either free shipping or a flat rate charge. I'm interested to know what you all are, how you're charging for shipping, if you are charging. All right, Paige women's jeans. These were actually skinny jeans that sold. Someone out there is still buying skinny jeans when the world is on wide leg and flare right now. Paige jeans went for $25 on a best offer. I am almost never picking up skinny jeans anymore. If you give it a couple years, they'll be back in style again, and then people will buy in skinny jeans. But for right now, I'm not picking them up. Nick Smith charges flat rate shipping. And they're just over a pound, 1 ounce over. Going up to Michigan, Milford, Michigan. I used to do free shipping for probably when I got started. I followed Rally Roots, which is kind of a well-known couple that sell on eBay, and they share a lot of their tips. And so they advised free shipping. So when I started, I did all free shipping, which is great because really it's not free shipping. You know, if I'm selling a shirt for $25 plus 5 shipping, I'm going to call it $30 free shipping. So the shipping is baked in. But when it comes to returns, and the reason why I switched, when it comes to returns on that $30 item, I paid for shipping. So let's say it was $5. And then when it comes back, I have to refund the whole thing. So it's almost like I'm getting dinged twice on an item free shipping. So that's why I switched to having the buyer pay for shipping. And that price that they see is lower than the price they would see with free shipping. So you see 30 plus free shipping or 24 plus 6. You see the 24, you may not pay attention to the 6. So just the way that I do things, and of course that could always change, but for right now, buyer pays shipping. I didn't share this one, but new with tags, Paul Frederick merino wool sweater that I sold on a best offer for $30. Paul Frederick isn't really a brand I know or pick up. This is the first time I've actually picked it up, but new with tags, I'll entertain a lot of things, and $5 or $6 purchase into $30. Gets me close to a $20 profit on that one. I was just thinking that eBay has, which I don't really know how many people actually click it, but when they're searching for items on eBay, they can click free shipping and it will only show those items that have free shipping. It's not something that I use as a buyer when I'm purchasing stuff, but it made me think, not in related to free shipping, but I wish that eBay had a button that was like feedback score 99% or more or something, and take away all the sellers that have less than a certain percent of feedback, because for someone like me, I'm not 100%, but I'm close. It would benefit me. I'm not sure why that isn't. Maybe it's harder to do that, but I'm not sure why that isn't something eBay has built in that really promotes those sellers and stores who strive for great customer service. I know they have the top rated badge, the top rated seller badge, but there's no way to really search by that, at least that I know of. Right? Am I wrong on that? I don't think there's really a way to search for top rated sellers when you're searching. You just get the little icon that pops up. I'm going to double check because eBay's been making some changes lately. Yeah, I don't see it. And I also don't see free shipping either. Maybe I'm thinking of returns because they do have a free returns button where you can check and see sellers that are offering, basically you can try it on and send it back if it doesn't fit or you don't like it. But yeah, I'm not seeing free shipping or top rated seller. But that'd be a cool feature if eBay wanted to bake that in at some point. All right, this sold in 3 days, and I don't pick up mugs really anymore, but I always look for these Starbucks mugs. You've seen the You Are Here series. This is the new series, or at least newer than the You Are Here, the Been There series, San Diego. And this was like $2.99 at my Goodwill. It's excellent condition, no chips, which you always want to check around the rim for chips. No chips around the edge here. So excellent condition. And I definitely put that in the title, no chips or cracks, or not in the title, in the description. Listed this. There were other options cheaper than mine. I'm not sure why mine sold over the others, but I got $22.50. So Nifty made the sale on this. I had it at 25. Nifty sent out the 10% offer, and they sold right away at that price, $22.50, within 3 days of listing it. I used to sell more mugs and plates and things like that, like not a lot. It wasn't a focus of mine, but I would always look for plate sets that were like unique patterns or vintagey styles. And I, made some good money on some of those things, but then you got to store them and they sit in there for a while and they're heavy. And if you buy multiple plate sets, it's just a lot. So I basically decided I'm not picking these up anymore. I'll look for the occasional mug because a few mugs doesn't take up a lot of space. And really glad that this sold pretty quickly. I don't want to get into the mug business. I'll sell mugs. I don't want to be a mug collector. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I've got a box for that. Yeah, this is perfect. I keep all my Amazon boxes down below. This is a 6x6x6. I don't know what I got it with, but it doesn't really matter. And it's going to fit perfect in this box. Of course, I'm going to pad this with some of those little air packs. Make sure this gets there in one piece. All right, we got air packs, we got more bubble wrap. We are good to go. I'm no expert on this. Like I said, I don't do this very often, but from the time that I spent shipping out stuff like that, you always want to make sure that when you shake it, it doesn't really rattle. You don't want it rattling around in there. You want it secure. Chemo, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. All right, charged $8.95. Shipping is $8.78. Almost $15 profit on that within a few days. So if you're in your thrift store looking at those mugs, make sure to look up the specific place. This one was San Diego. You may be surprised. You may find some mugs. And when I find one, I always spend time making sure there's not extras, because a lot of times, maybe there's an estate sale or an estate donation or something a buyer has. A lot of times things like this, these Starbucks mugs, people will collect them. So if they donate one, they may donate 5. And I've been at stores before where I've picked up 5 or 6 of those for $1 or $2 each. And obviously you can pull in good money on a couple bucks spent to flip them for $20 a piece. All right, one of my oldest flips. And this is just one of the reasons why I don't do women's. This was actually an item given to me from my neighbor. I sell a bunch of stuff for him. It's a women's swimsuit, and the brand is Amaressa. I've never heard of the brand before, but there's the tag. It says $178. Of course, anyone can slap a price on a tag and say this is worth $178, but this did not sell for anywhere near that. Sold for $25 over 2 years after listing it. I had this priced to like 60, 70, and just slowly lowering it over the years. And when the offer came in on this, I was just ecstatic to move it, because honestly, I thought this thing isn't ever going to sell. And so my neighbor and I split the profit, which isn't going to be a lot on this sale, but it's one item gone out of inventory, makes room for something else that's a better selling item. And I've got a couple other swimsuits from him that are new with tags from his wife. And they're even, I should probably just donate them, because they're like $15 right now. They're just a cheap brand. But this buyer lives in Kansas City, Missouri. All right, one of the coolest finds and sales of the weekend was this vintage 1970s comforter. This was a Sears brand comforter, and I actually paid up for this, so I wouldn't call it a mistake. I didn't lose money on it, but I pretty much broke even. Nick, I feel like you'll like this. And this retro football print. It's got all the teams in this interesting graphic. All the football teams on it. I'm not going to unravel it, or unfold it. You can see them there. I paid $19.99 for this at Salvation Army maybe 5 weeks ago. And I had looked up comps on this. This is like a twin bunk bed comforter. And I looked up comps on this, and I thought this was going to go for like 50, 60, 70. And when I went to list it, and I was actually looking at more realistic comps, so I was like, no, I'm not going to get that. So I just priced it to move it. Took an offer of $30 on this weekend just to get it gone and pretty much get my money back and break even. So it is a cool piece, but I'm not going to make much, if at all, on this piece. And I don't really want to put it in a huge box when this thing can pack down. Yeah, you would think 1970s fun graphic, and I think I was the only one that had this size in that graphic, this size, and a comforter. A lot of people were selling like the bed sheets or like the pillowcases. I thought it'd be different, but that's okay. Whenever that happens, realize this isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's price it to move it and get it gone. I'll just slap the label right there. All right. We're getting close to the end, but we're definitely over on our hour, and that's okay. This is going to Cape Girardeau, Missouri, which is just not far away. All right, so I actually did better than I thought. By the time I subtract out my cost of goods, I made $9.13. So that's not bad. And it sold within 11 days. So yeah, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but not what I thought it was going to be. Let's put it that way. All right, I mentioned the Oklahoma Jordan jersey that I sold before. This was the last one to go. This one sold full price at $32.39. I picked up like 15 to 20 of these this time last year for $10 a piece. And all of them sold off really fast. And then the last 3 were all men's size small. So it took a while to sell those. Yeah, finding memories. Why don't you put the new label on top of the old one? No need. Yeah, that's maybe I missed your comment from earlier, but yeah, that's exactly what I did. And $9 in profit isn't bad. I thought I broke even, so I'll take it. You're right on in that. $9 profit, 50% profit in 11 days. And the most important part, it's taken up more space than the items I have sitting in my store. So it frees up more space for something else. I missed the shipping on that Jordan jersey. Okay. We're landing the plane. Got a vintage Winchester heavy denim shirt. You can find, can't really see it, but there's like a pocket on the front that says Winchester, and it's got the embroidered rider on the horse, and then on the back of the shirt, it's got Winchester going across the back middle of the part of the shirt. Buyer made offers on this, a couple of counter offers, and we settled on $22. I had it priced at $29 originally. And I typically am wanting $24, $25 when I price at that upper 20, but this was a just price it, move it, get it gone. So I didn't spend a lot of time thinking through this one. When they came up to 22, I was like, that's good enough for me. Let's take it. And that sold within 18 days. Profiting me $13 and change. Going to Chicago, Illinois. That's right. Finding Memories knows what's up. That's all. That's what the business is. And I used to think, oh, I'm not hurting on cash. I've got space. I'll just, price my items to make a lot of money. And what I'm finding as I'm getting close to tapping out my space is, one, it's not fun when you've got that item that's been sitting in your inventory for 3 years and you have to do all these things. You've got to run sales, and then the chances of it selling get less and less as it ages. So I've drastically reduced my expectations for flipping items. It's like, let's just price it, move it. And if I have a buyer in hand, let's get it gone. This item I picked up, you're seeing a lot of fast flips on my end. 5 days after listing it is when this sold. First week of football season kicked off this past weekend. This was a Nike dry fit on field. Really cool Dolphins polo. The unfortunate thing, when I picked it up, I didn't see it. It had a big stain like right here on the side, like a heavy, hard stain I don't think was going to come out. It looked like grease, like a dark stain. But I picked this up for $1. It was on sale, thrift store. It was old inventory. They were trying to move it, so the oldest inventory gets priced at $1. I picked it up and it sold for $17.99 going to Jackson, Mississippi. So I would take that all day. Pay 25 cents for something like that's almost unheard of. I besides this thrift store, I don't have another store that prices that has items at $1. So that was a really good find for me. Had it not had the stain, I could have gotten $5 or $10 more, but that's okay. I'm just glad that a flawed item is gone. So profit in 5 days on that shirt for paying $1 for it was $15.50. Yeah, I'm in the selling business, not the storing business. That's exactly right. And, 5 years ago, I would price things a lot higher and I would sell them for a lot more money, especially some of these brands that are a little less known. That's not the case anymore. You have a bunch of people going live like myself, talking about brands, creating reels. You have a bunch of resellers getting in the market. And now more than ever, it's important that we do the fast flip. Get your money back. It's more important to price competitively and get it gone. All right, these are my 2 orders that I'm shipping out that came in this morning. I don't think I've had any activity since I went live. No other orders or offers or anything. Let's just make sure. Nothing that I can see. I will say though, I accepted 3 offers on Depop. I accepted 3 offers, none of them paid. So that was kind of disappointing. Probably totaling it close to $100. That would have put me at, I was hoping to crack that 40 units sold on a weekend. It didn't happen, and that's okay. I'm happy with my weekend, but I had 3 Depop orders that just never paid. I don't expect all of them to, but I would have thought out of the 3, I would have gotten at least 1. So that was a little disappointing, but just another reason why I'm considering not listing on Depop anymore. All right. You saw Cool earlier. Here's a pair of Cool shorts that sold this morning, full price, $34.99. These are the Cool Renegade pants or Cool Renegade shorts. Model is also important with Cool. If you look on the tag, I believe on the very underside of the tag, you'll see like a 6-digit number. Actually, I don't know if it's 6 digits. I may be thinking of another brand. But it's important to try and get that model. Radical, Renegade, those are a couple of their popular selling shorts and pants. And again, you go online and buy those off of Cool's website. You're going to pay, their shorts, I think, are like $60, $70. Their pants are close to $100. So someone's getting them for half price, and those are excellent condition. Of course, that's all. I always strive to get lightly used items. I'm really not picking up items that are, unless they're vintage, that are older and really, really worn. 13 days to sell those shorts to make $22 profit. Yeah, and to your comment, Nick, I expect that with Depop. It's just like, I know that's part of the platform, but if I'm looking at, like, I go to this pretty often on my spreadsheet, I've got a platform's trends, and it'll tell you percentage of sales on each platform, tell you how many units you sold on each platform, your average sales price, things like that. If I look at eBay, so let's just look at August, 74% of my business was on eBay, 21% on Poshmark. So 95% of my business was on platforms, either eBay or Poshmark. So that leaves 5% of my business that goes across Mercari, Depop, Amazon, Facebook. I'm not really selling on anymore. I'm not listing over there. And social media, 5%. So it makes me wonder, is the amount of time that I'm putting, which isn't a lot when you've got nifty cross-listing, it's pretty easy, but the amount of time I'm spending and offering and countering and things like that on those platforms, is it worth it for that 5%? This month, 98% of my orders so far in September are on eBay and Poshmark. So it's pushing closer to the decision to possibly drop Depop and Mercari here pretty soon. But then even when I have that thought, I'll make a Depop sale and I'll be like, see, I should stay on Depop. And I have to remind myself, like, it's the numbers. I think what I'm going to do is let it go throughout the rest of the year. I'm going to see through Q4. Excuse me. And if the trends stay where they are or less, I'm just gonna say goodbye and try and not think about it again. All right, my other sale from today, you heard me mention the neighbor that gives me items. These were his Burberry jeans. He's given me like 4 pairs of these jeans. He wears a lot of Burberry. And so I've sold his Burberry glasses. I've sold Burberry pants. He's got Burberry shirts. I mean, he just loves Burberry. So when he says, hey, I've got some items, do you want to swing by and take a look? I always say yes. I don't turn anything down, and then I can at least make a decision when I get there. And those jeans sold this morning for $64. They were like a dark wash, straight leg jean. So we split the profit. It's going to South Hempstead, New York. Chemo says, drop the zeros, stick with the heroes. I know I'm getting closer, but if I were talking to Chris at Peak, he would just say, like, what are you doing? You're wasting your time over there. Nick says eBay 74, Posh 17, Depop 9. And that, see, Nick, yours justifies staying in Depop. 9%, 9 to 11% is actually really good. But yeah, it's just rough. I don't know how. I can see why Depop would be around. I don't know how Mercari has made it this long. I'm just like waiting for an announcement that Mercari is not going to be anymore any day. Like, they're always running sales. They're always like 20% off fashion trends this week. I'm like, are you guys doing okay over there? Like, is it stressful to work for Mercari? If 95% of my business if that trend sticks, 95% of my business on eBay and Poshmark, that's a no-brainer for me. I'll always list some things on Amazon because you can get more money there and sometimes sell faster. Like, it's crazy, new items on Amazon, how much they'll go for compared to like eBay. So I'm not going to drop Amazon, but Depop and Mercari I'm considering. Mercari would go first, would be my guess. Depop would be second. In the last, so if you look at August and September, so we're only a week into September, but if you look at 5 weeks, 5.5 weeks on those platforms, I've sold 4 units on Mercari. I sold 6 last month on Depop. I haven't sold anything on Depop this month. So not great numbers. They're definitely not heroes. Yeah, Mercari for me has been better. Like, Q1 of this year, I sold 30 units in 3 months. So averaging 10 a day or 10 a month, which a Mercari sale every 3 days is good enough for me. But yeah, it is just dropped. And then when I got really close to dropping it, and then in July I had 11 units sold in Mercari, and I'm like, see, I should stay on. But again, it started going down, so we may drop that one. Anyways, I'm done shipping for the day. That's my weekend in a wrap. I want to thank you all for jumping in here. We're an hour and a half in. I didn't make the hour. I wasn't even close, but that's okay. I'll take having more sales and spending longer on live. Yeah, Chemo, that's kind of, in the past I've done that where I've only listed like vintage items on Depop, and then I was just like, hey, it's only a couple clicks to get it on there using Nifty, so why not just put everything? And also I do have some sales in Depop that surprise me. I'm like, this isn't vintage. This isn't like, it's not like the Depop item or style. But yeah, so things I'm watching for sure. We do have an offer on eBay for a corduroy blazer. Not a great brand, Saddlebred, but with these corduroy blazers, it's the look people are going for, and it's a good size, 50 regular. I'm gonna accept this offer, 30 bucks. I've got it for 35.99. That's a no-brainer. I'm gonna just take that going to Wisconsin. Blazers, the one thing I hate listing and storing, they take up a lot of room in that closet. So I'll be happy to get that one out. All right, guys, Nick, Chemo, who else was in here? Finding Memories. Thanks so much for popping in and saying hello. I hope you have a great week. I hope you get some large sales this week and just have some fun, whatever you're up to. And yeah, I'm gonna sign off here, but I'll see you guys. Remember, next Monday. I don't have like a set time, but typically around that 9:30 to 9:45 time, I'll be live shipping out weekend orders. So hope to see you all there. Put a note down, come back and hang out with me. This has been fun. We'll catch you guys on another live. Thanks so much.